Republican Senator Rand Paul is not messing around. Almost every day this week, well, I guess like every other day this week, there has been an example of Rand Paul very calmly, very consistently in terms of consistent with his prior stated values, which is rare for Republicans who flip-flop all over the place, dismantling false narratives about the legality of kidnapping Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela, making Secretary of State on yesterday's show, Marco Rubio, look really unprepared. And the latest one is with Rob Schmidt on Newsmax. Rob Schmidt is hardcore MAGA. Hardcore MAGA. Trump's never done anything Rob Schmidt didn't like. And Rand Paul very calmly explains to him, you, Rob, are spreading disinformation about the killing of Alex Pretti. Let's take a listen to the first clip straight up saying, have you seen the video? The video does not depict what people are claiming it depicts.
I think after seeing this, if you call this a good shooting, you aren't watching the video. This was a real tragedy and a mistake. The man had been disarmed and then was shot 10 times. I want ICE to do a good job. I want ICE to get rid of the violent people in our communities, but we can't have it if we say things like, oh yeah, well, he was an assassin and he was a domestic terrorist. If we say things that are obviously not true, the situation is going to get worse.
I agree that some of the administration made this worse by saying things that obviously were untrue, and we didn't know a lot. We're still wondering. I mean,
all right. So remember, the defense from the MAGAs is the stuff that they got wrong. You can't hold them accountable for that. We didn't know yet. Well, but then why were they speaking? They love loose lips when they want to get ahead of the propaganda game. But then when they get stuff wrong and you go, hey, do you want to? What about this? Are you ready to now declare X? They go, well, listen, now there's an investigation going on. Well, why were your lips so loose back then when you thought you could get away with some favorable propaganda? Rand Paul, very directly and clearly saying, people keep saying he brandished his weapon. Alex Pretti did. He did not. If you keep saying it, you're going to encourage more of this crap.
And in this case, it's important to know he didn't draw his weapon. They said he brandished his weapon. That is not true. If you keep saying things that are not true, you're going to encourage more of this crap. But on the other side, does Minnesota need to cooperate?
Yes.
Without question, the sanctuary city policy is part of the problem as well.
Yes. And
the other issue, and Rand Paul is completely correct. I mean, just how could you possibly argue that he is wrong? Rand Paul took another issue up with Rob Schmidt, and it's an important one because of the hypocrisy. Rand Paul points out people being somewhere with a gun legally cannot be used to justify an increased likelihood of getting shot. I am not a gun guy. I want more gun safety regulations. I want fewer guns around, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, if it's your right to carry, you can't use the exercise of a right to say, well, that right exercised might get you shot. And Rand Paul makes that clear.
Well, what I would say is, if it were my son and he says, Dad, I'm going to a rally, I'm going to take my gun with me, exactly. I would say not a good idea. But on the other side, I've been to hundreds of rallies with people who are armed. Virtually every meeting I go to in Kentucky, people wear their concealed carry. They wear their open carry. They have the constitutional right to carry. So if we're going to become the party that says, oh, you don't have a right to carry and you might just be shot, there is no reason to shoot somebody. In fact, the gun statistics show that those who carry are like 1,000 times less likely to commit a crime and less likely to draw their weapon.
Okay, I don't know about those statistics that he mentions at the end, but it would be interesting to look into. But what really is at the heart of this is that constitutionally protected activities are being used as justification to be roughed up or even killed by federal officers. Exercising the First or Second Amendment, if we believe in the Constitution, cannot be used as a justification for the taking of life, for violence, for arrest, for detainment, for roughing people up, even for harassing people. And what is absolutely terrifying is that MAGA doesn't really care about that. I have a whole chapter in my book, The Echo Machine, here about how the principles that this movement states and says that they hold dear, they don't really. They are not sincerely held. They are conveniently held. The Second Amendment as an absolute right to be armed in public. They hold that conveniently until it's not so convenient. And with Alex Pretti, it's not convenient because when you look at the video, you see that he didn't brandish his firearm. He wasn't a threat to agents. He wasn't even protesting. It wasn't a protest. He was there observing and then tried to go to the defense of a woman who was pepper sprayed. He was then disarmed. He never reached for his gun. An officer disarmed him, and then they shot him dead. It is no longer convenient to claim that having firearms with you is not a problem. And so now they've gone to, well, he had a gun. Even if it was a protest, the law says that that's okay. So Rand Paul on this issue is completely right. A lot of people think they have a handle on their finances. Then they look at the numbers and realize something's not adding up. And that is where our sponsor, Rocket Money, comes in. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that shows you the full financial picture in one place: spending, subscriptions, upcoming bills, paydays, so things don't slip through the cracks. One thing I like is how clear the dashboard is. You can see where your money's going. You can spot subscriptions you forgot about. And if there's one you don't want anymore, Rocket Money will help you cancel it with just a few taps. You can also set up custom budgets based on past spending, and it just makes it easier to stay on track. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by scanning for savings opportunities and talking to customer service on your behalf. Rocket Money has saved users over $2.5 billion, including over $880 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Each of their 10 million members saves up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster. Go to rocketmoney.com/Pakman. The link is in the description.